Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Sunday, July 17th, I believe. It is 102 degrees Fahrenheit and the heat index is 109. So it is a scorcher. So I thought, I'm caught up video editing for the most part. So I thought I'd get out here and shoot this homestead update real quick and show you what's going on. And see if I can get it done before we melt. The garden's looking great. The watering system on it is paying off big time in all this heat. So let's flip the camera around and I'll show you what's going on here real quick. Okay, so last update, I had planted these, I had two bean cherry trees that had these little micro stick grafts on them, and they never showed any sign of life. So I sent the guy a message, the eBay vendor, said, hey, these were dead when I got them. They didn't do anything. And he didn't respond, so I filed for a return, and he accepted that. So I got to mail them back to him to get my $50 back. So this peach tree, the peaches never really got big. I don't know why. It gets watered the same as all the others. I got the watering system on these, and I water it probably at least twice a week. I hit them for an hour and a half. This is the pear tree that had the limbs dying. They went ahead and died quite a bit. I need to trim those, and I haven't. But it has a couple of pears on there. They're kind of shrivelly looking, but we've got some pears on there. And I've got comfrey planted around the bottoms of all my trees to help keep the soil cool around the roots and help maintain moisture a little bit. And that watering really helps them out. Bumblebees really like these when they bloom. The bloom I think is too big for honeybee because I don't ever see them on there. This pear tree here looks pretty good actually. It's got quite a few good looking little pears. There's not much size to them. I don't know if they'll get any bigger or not. But there's quite a few on here. Good looking little fruits. So I'm not a crazy pear person, but you know, if I grew it, I'll probably eat a few of them. Wife will make some pear honey. This little apple tree is doing okay. It didn't make a whole lot of apples, but it's kind of like that pear tree. The fruit's small, and I don't know if that'll get bigger or not, but I'm keeping them watered good. So they got plenty of water to pack on these fruits, so we'll see how they do. The sunflowers are pretty much cooked. The Johnson grass loves this weather. I need to kill that. Yeah, those are pretty droopy. So I'm putting all my garden compost right down there. And there's the wood chip pile. Man, I love those wood chips. So this peach tree here, so this turned out to be a white peach. And man, look at those, they're nice. And they're still really firm. So, and you know, earlier I said there's a lot of worms in them, but there's some good peaches here with no worms. Yeah, they turned out nice. And these have a really good flavor to them. That one there is just about ready. So the other tree, the one that's busted, let's run around there real quick. Yeah, when it's this hot out, you really pay close attention to the chickens and their water. Make sure they got water. I've been giving them fresh water every day. Got two of those little black things full of water. There's one on the other side. So they've always got water that's in the shade. And that 5-gallon bucket's just kind of a backup. But they hang out underneath the coop most of the time, staying cool. So here's one with the busted off limbs. We've got most of the peaches from up high. But there's still a few down here on this limb that's fallen down. That we pull them off as they get ready, when they get softer. So you can see there's a few left there. But someone said I can probably pull these limbs back up and patch it up. I don't know. Seems like that's a lot of weight for that. But it's a grasshopper. Whoa. Yeah, let's get around to the garden now. So with the tomatoes and peaches we've been harvesting, we'll bring them. Those chickens like to stand in that water, get their legs wet. Probably helps them cool off. There's like no breeze. It is calm and 102. Yeah, so anyway, the peaches that we get, so when you cut one up that had a worm in it, it takes forever to cut it up. And but anyway, we get the scraps out here. You see all those peach pits there on the ground. And also the tomatoes. We made some salsa, and all the tomato peels and tomato seeds and all that, they've been eating on that. So the chickens have been eating well. The cucumbers have come through on this side, and there's a few in there. There's a little bit of heat wilt going on here, not much, but they're doing all right. But there's a few baby cucumbers in there, and over on the other side, cucumbers were doing okay on this end, but this end they got choked out by the carrots. So I'll put some pictures of my carrot harvest right here. As man, I've never had carrots that do that well. This is the last of the lettuce. This was kind of a head variety here, and this was just a leafy lettuce, but it's all bolting now. So I keep this watered, and I snip the bolts off and feed those to the chickens. This little flower garden here turned out really pretty. The zinnias in there. And this is a dahlia right here. Just hasn't bloomed yet. Here's a dahlia blooming right here with that passion flower right there next to it on the left. But yeah, the butterflies, when they're flying, they really like these. Got some marigolds down there. So I wood chipped all this to help with the weed suppression. It's done a good job. I love wood chips. Here's the other side. This is all passion flower vine up here, working its way on over. Got quite a few blooming today. The honeybees like those passion flowers. The zinnias turned out really pretty. Let's get on into the garden, show you what's happening in there. So check this out. This is the pole bean tunnel, and they're clear to the top. Look at that. A little bit at the top. Oh, it's cool in here. Oh, feels great. So a lot of blooms in here. Not making beans yet. There's a little one started right there. So yeah, the idea is these beans will form in here and just hang down and just pull them off. So if I remember right, these make a lot when it starts cooling down a little bit. Here's a couple right here. But these are, the variety is Kentucky Wonder Pole Bean. And man, they really put on the beans. But one thing I wasn't counting on when I made this, I didn't really think about it, but it's a little bit of a problem. So when the beans are on the top and they're way up here, it's kind of hard to get to them. So I just kind of stand there on the side. So we've got probably a couple of quarts of beans off of these so far. So they're not making a whole lot just yet, but you can see they're covered with blooms. So my bees need to get up here and get busy and pollinate all these if they haven't already. But when there's a sunflower comes up volunteering here, sometimes we'll let them go, depending on where it's at. Strawberries do not like the heat. They're more of a springtime. These are a ever-bearing type strawberry, but I think their evers wore out because they're not putting out much. So that soil below them is moist. We do give them a little extra water with the extra sprinkler, in addition to what they get with this automatic watering system. The Field U jalapenos have been great. These peppers really done well this year. I just harvested these a couple days ago. You can see some there. But these are not hot. You can eat them right off the vine. And they're delicious. Great jalapeno popper pepper. I'll say that fast 3 times. But this little plot here, we just decided to make that flower. So this green things here are cosmos. And they haven't bloomed yet. And they love the heat, so they'll do good. So there's a few little blooms just starting right there. A few zinnias. I don't know what these yellow flowers are, but wife picked those out. The tomatoes have been doing excellent. We had a surge of tomatoes, and we put up 1 batch of salsa last night, as a matter of fact. And there's 3 nice ones right there. Not quite ripe. But we put up 12 pints, and we need to do that 3 more times so I won't run out, because I'm a salsa hog, man. I love that stuff. I put it on everything. Yeah, so we've got, some green ones still here, and we got blooms forming up here. So these blooms will make tomatoes, I'm guessing late August, September time frame. So if the vines make it that far. This year, I've really tried to stay on top of my pruning the tomatoes and making sure that I'm taking care of the suckers. But, you got to really stay on top of them to keep those suckers from growing. See, here's one I missed right here. And that's turning into a part of the vine. It's up high enough, it's okay. But really, when you don't want your suckers kicking out is down low and makes your vine get really big and out of control. Another row of tomatoes right here. So I have all big boys, celebrities, and I think this one here that's not doing very good is called a better boy. Yep, that's a better boy. It don't look better to me. It looks like a worse boy. So there's a few down there will probably be ripe enough. Pick them this evening. You got to watch these, because some of this you think it's not ripe, but it really is. That's just a sunburn from the really hot direct sunlight they're getting. Here's more cucumbers. I'm getting most of my cucumbers from down in the lower garden, but once they get really big, I'll just let them go, and it'll get big like a big old zucchini. And then I'll just cut it lengthwise and let the chickens have those great big ones. Because once they get real seedy, they're not good for pickles, really. Wife's going to put up some bread and butter pickles today, she says, from some of the cucumbers I have that I picked last night. Cilantro, it bolted and seeded. You saw the flowering from the last update. They're really pretty, but when they do that, you lose all your foliage. So all these seeds... we'll make new cilantro plants, in the future. I could probably save those up and put them in a container. Yeah, those are good. They make cilantro. Cilantro's pretty prolific. You don't have to do anything, and it'll come right back. Here's more sunflowers. And marigolds. There's the rest of the tunnel. Okay, let's get on down here to the big garden, and I'll show you what's going on down here. So this is in a raised bed garden. I'm trying a back to Eden style with these wood chips. So I've got tomatoes going all along here on this panel, and took them a while to get going, but they're going okay. There's some tomatoes set on them. And each one has its own drip emitter. You see that little red thing right there? And they get watered twice a day for about 15 minutes. So those are 2 gallons per hour emitter. And these are doing pretty good compared to what they were. It took them a while to get established. I think the heat affects them more down here too. But there's a branch I need to get tied up. That's probably a sucker I didn't get. Not a lot of tomatoes here, but I'm hoping I'll get an onset surge in a few weeks to help finish off the salsa requirements. So the rest of the garden here is shaping up pretty good. I can see a little heat wilt here going on that. That's some volunteer cucumbers, so it's probably not by a waterer is why. And there's a tomato plant right here, and I think that's a cherry tomato, because that's a volunteer as well. But along this outside edge is all watermelon. You can see we've got a few going here. There's one here. There's 2 right there. And these are, there's one outside the fence there. These are Georgia rattlesnake watermelons. There's one. There's one. This is in danger of getting ate by the coyotes or raccoons outside my little fence here. My fence, I don't have it energized yet, but you can see it's not very tall. It's a 2-foot tall fence. I use that fence for skunks to keep them off my beehives. And there's another one. I need to check this, make sure we've got water hitting up here. Yeah, it's moist. So yeah, my little waterers are working, just checking them. So the middle row, all down this middle, is cantaloupe. But I do have some volunteer cucumbers. So this leaf here, that's a cucumber leaf. And this is a cantaloupe leaf. And here's a big cucumber I'm just letting go. That'll be for the chickens. I try and find them in here before they get big so fast, you just can't catch them. Here's a, that's a watermelon right there. It's the asparagus, we're just letting it go. Right now, whew, it's hot. My camera's going off, giving me a over temperature alert. So I turned the frame rate and the resolution down. Here's a cantaloupe. There's quite a few cantaloupes all out through here. I'd say there's at least 15 or 20 just on this little slope right here. And these tomatoes I transplanted over here, I never did get them staked out, and they're not doing real well. But they're just kind of lazying around. But they are making a few tomatoes. And those are indeterminate plants, so they're just going to vine out, and they're going to probably be overcome by all this vine around in here once it takes over. But let's find some cantaloupes here. Here's a couple right here. There's a couple of nice cantaloupes. There's one. There's a watermelon. Here's 3 cantaloupes right here. There's a watermelon. There's a baby cantaloupe right there. There's one. Yeah, so this garden here is turning out good, and this watering system is paying off. Oh, I'm getting hot. Yeah, so I'm gonna call the video here. I'm about to croak out, man. It is hot. I'm gonna stand here in this little shade of this peach tree. But yeah, so we hit 10,000 subscribers. That's awesome. Thanks for all that's subscribed and stuck with this channel for a few years. You know, it's really grown here the last couple. So really appreciate y'all subscribing. And stick around, there's going to be more, a lot of beekeeping, so you probably know that. But I try and do at least one of these homestead updates a month. And also check out my wildlife channel if you haven't already, Game Cam Wildlife. So it's a pretty good wildlife channel. It features wildlife that's just on this place right here, and you'd be amazed at what we've seen. And I got some good otter shots this month, believe it or not. But that's the end of the video, so give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not subscribed, and you can be part of the 10,000 Jerome Bee Farm Army. So we'll catch you on the next homestead update. Y'all take care.